Hi guys, is it possible for the Trump administration to stop playing stupid games when it comes to the Israel-Gaza conflict? So the US envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, allegedly made some claims about Hamas surrendering, giving up its arms before the establishment of a Palestinian state. Something that both the US and Israel seem to be against at the moment. But Hamas has come out with their own statement which contradicts what the US envoy had to say. Have a listen.
With that breaking news in the last hour, Hamas have issued a statement saying it will not disarm unless an independent Palestinian state is established. The statement came in response to some media reports in Israel quoting the US envoy Steve Witkoff about Hamas's laying down their arms. Let's have a look at that statement. Hamas has said in response to media reports quoting US envoy Steve Witkoff, claiming that the movement has shown willingness to disarm, we reaffirm that resistance and its arms are a legitimate national and legal right as long as the occupation continues.
Okay, now I'm not going to get into the ins and outs on whether this is an occupation, this is a war, whether Hamas has the right to rebel. Under international law, if there's an occupation taking place, they have a legitimate right to rebel against it, to resist that occupation. Israel and the US, it seems, doesn't see this as an occupation. So I'm not going to get into that. But what is the Trump administration doing? Instead of putting pressure on Israel to stop, maybe they realize, actually, we can't put any pressure on Netanyahu. Netanyahu is not listening to us. He doesn't care. He understands that if he stops this war, he'll be in jail. He'll lose his government. His government will collapse. The far-right parties in his administration will abandon him. His government will collapse. There will be elections. And he will end up in jail probably for corruption, over corruption charges. He needs this conflict to continue in order to remain in position as prime minister. So instead of actually putting pressure on him, it seems the Trump administration is attempting to trick Hamas or trick the public into being convinced that Hamas is willing to surrender. Hamas have said that on a number of occasions they're not willing to surrender until there's a Palestinian state. And you notice here the language until. So they would be, according to their own statement, willing to give up their fight if there is a Palestinian state. There would be no need to continue their resistance because they would have their own state. But what is the Trump administration doing? Why are they putting out false statements? They obviously understand that Hamas would not surrender until a Palestinian state is in place. You know, no amount of rhetoric is going to make any difference there. And what the Trump administration is doing is they're actually making the situation worse, because by putting out these false statements, it will encourage more people to back Hamas, in the sense that people in Gaza, in the West Bank, will see that, oh, the United States is trying to throw us under a bus here. They're not interested in peace. They're interested in tricking the public into believing that Hamas has actually surrendered when they haven't. It's not going to work this way. What does Donald Trump want from all of this? Is it he wants to do a victory lap once again? He wants to claim some sort of victory here. Oh, look, it was me that fixed the Middle East. You know, no other president could have done it. Barack Obama was incompetent. Joe Biden, obviously incapable. I'm the guy who brought both sides together. I'm the one who ended this long conflict in the Middle East. Is this what Donald Trump wants? And his way of achieving that is to trick people? It's not going to work. It's just going to make the situation worse. It's almost impossible to imagine a worse situation. But this is what Trump seems to be doing. He's picking a side, and unfortunately for him, he has very little influence, it seems, over Netanyahu, because Netanyahu knows as soon as this is over, he's in jail. The US should stop playing these dirty tricks, these stupid games, because they're risking people's lives here. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.